Welcome to the Monday Morning Coach Show. I'm your co-host, Willie Snyder, joined by my other co-host, Mr. King James Stalkup. We are going through a crow-eating episode this week because King James was really confident that them Cowboys are going to show up. And so we'll kind of go over it a little bit this week. And Daniel's been having it on there for a while. He says fresh off the grill and nice and well done, because I told him you like your crow well done. So I actually have like an action replay of like what happened over at the Stalkup Ranch.
I got a sad feeling in my heart.
I wonder who's singing that.
I think it was your dad was on the mic on Sunday, so we'll see. But it was really funny because I don't know if anybody knows the backstory on that, but I was sitting there on YouTube. I'm always looking for music, and all of a sudden I saw music, James Stalkup, and I'm like, what? And it was funny because I started looking it up, and I asked you, I was like, dude, I think I got your dad's music on here. He's like, oh yeah, he had songs that Elvis, recorded.
Elvis recorded one of them, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, all right. But they definitely had a sad feeling on Sunday, and I don't know if anybody heard what you said.
He is like,
You want bet on that?
he's like over the moon, saying that they're gonna come in here to Mile High and beat them for the first time in 30 years. But I don't know, man.
I told you, all the defense has to do is get 3 to 4 stops.
Is that right?
And they're going to put them points up, and it's going to be over by third quarter.
Ooh, over by third quarter.
I told you, the defense, that's all they had to do.
It was
and
over by the
third. They couldn't even do that.
It was over by the third quarter.
I'll tell you, this is no lie. We're watching the game when y'all had your second offensive possession, and the guy freaking lined up all sides, and we held y'all. I told Dad right then, I said, they're going to lose. And he goes, oh, there's a long way to go. I said, no. I said, if you're that freaking dumb and undisciplined that you can't look down the line of scrimmage and see you're off sides, I said, there is a cultural problem there, and there needs to be accountability. It's not that you teach that to Pee-wee kids. Look down the line, make sure you're not off sides. Every pro that does that, college, high school, anything. If I was a coach, they would set the bench the rest of the game to do something that stupid. But
did
like
you ever...
like you text me, I'm going to tell you how undisciplined the Cowboys are. In the first quarter, they had 5 legal procedure penalties. That's just, there's no discipline on that team at all. That is bad.
True. We got one more here too for Daniel.
So I think it was quite a long time. Like, it was probably like 4 or 5 years or something since we'd actually won in our own stadium.
That was the Raiders.
Denver, just because our offense is such crappy offense,
I'm about to get your ass whooped this coming week.
We will see. I will expect what I'll do is I'll just come on afterwards and I'll be like, show me proof that you guys were winning at one point in the game. Like, I'll have to do like a whole Weed Man Jeremy on you, and I'll have to be like, I want to see the box score where you guys thought you were beating our offense, or whatever. I'll have to do something, So I think it was quite a long time. So I think it was quite.
Unlike Jeremy, I brought the receipts.
Right?
But it wasn't in our favor.
Quite a long time. So I think.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's all screwed up.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready
so
for the meme of the week?
Yeah, let's do it. So Buddy's all in his Mahomes jersey, full pads. What's so funny is it kind of gives me a little bit of a segue to kind of do a little breakdown on the game we have tonight. It's probably just starting now. Is we have the Commanders going into Red Kingdom tonight. Commanders are without Jaden Daniels, and so Marcus Mariota will take the start tonight. They have a pretty big uphill battle going into Red Kingdom. Chiefs are pretty well on fire. They took down the Raiders last week like 31-0. So they're on a pretty high note, especially being over there in Red Kingdom in Chiefs Nation at Gay Stadium. And it's just one of those things that I expect the Chiefs to probably put up a pretty good number tonight, and like I say, there's a lot of speculation on Rashee Rice had 2 touchdowns his first night out, so fantasy wise he's actually been probably the number 1 Chiefs out there. They got I think Kareem Hunt's banged up, so he's out. And they got Pacheco, actually got his first touchdown last week, so they're pretty fired up and look to see this being a tight game. But we have to do Daniel J's Monday night prediction. What do you think, King James?
Well, last week I was right and y'all were wrong.
Yep.
So let's get that straight right
100%.
now.
Dude, Minnesota just looks horrible, man. The Chargers were fired up, man.
I'm going to go underdog on this. I'm going to take Washington.
Commanders?
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I could bet against the Red Kingdom. So I think me and Daniel are going to take the favorite and the Chiefs. I'm gonna go Chiefs. I'm gonna say they equal their same thing. I'm gonna say 31-24, and I'd like to see Bill Krosky-Merritt get 100 yards tonight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll go 23-20 Commanders.
Right.
I don't think Commanders gonna win, but I'll take them.
So you're liking the walk-off field goal approach?
Yeah, something will happen.
That'd be cool. I'd like that. And Mariota has actually been.
He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's been good. I'd take him on fantasy, any day of the week over like Gabriel or Cousins. Yeah. Cousins just laid an egg. I mean, I don't know what Cousins does after this. I mean, he just looked horrible. So we'll see. But enough of the NFL. We'll get to your college and let you have your college fun.
This is going to be a fun one tonight. All right,
yes,
here we
sir.
go.
It's time for King James's college breakdown and rankings.
So just before you start, breaking news, we have a coach that has been fired from LSU. So Kelly is gone. They fired him. So.
Yep. I knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
They don't play down there in Louisiana. Yep. And another rumor going around, and I sort of think it's true. I think the Texas coach, Sarkisian, may be going to the Titans.
Wow.
He's denying it, of course, but I don't know. I think Sarkisian's always had aspirations of coaching in the NFL. And
right.
I may be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Yeah.
We'll see. But it's interesting looking at the percentages that are there. I'll tell you right now, I hate to say this. God, I hate it. But A&M's got a good team.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was part of the reason for Kelly getting fired is they put up 24 points, and then LSU was at home.
Yeah. And remember what I told you, Ole Miss. I said, Ole Miss is going to win out, and you'll see they just jumped up to 70% from last week.
They played actually. Oklahoma played them tough. That was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game, but Oklahoma just doesn't have the depth, and that's what hurts them.
It showed.
I sort of look at this, and you'll see Texas is on the bubble right now. So is Vanderbilt. They play this week. The thing I'm going to say about Texas is Sarkeesian, you need to get your head out of your ass. You know, I I was listening to one of the guys, Rod, over on Texas Football, and it's something that I'd been bringing up a long time ago, Dad and I talking about. I said, I don't know why Sarkeesian's running these complicated offensive line fronts and things like that. He's got them big boys up there. Just go mano a mano, see what happens. And they played like crap till the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, as Rod Babers like, he goes, well, they went into crisis mode, and he started checking the crisis mode against Florida when they needed to score. And I think it's a total of like probably 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, the offense had put up like 48 points or something.
Right.
And it was going to show that let Arch Manning go out there and deal,
Right.
run, because see what they do. And I could be wrong about this, but I think Sarkeesian's worried about losing players. They've got hellacious recruiting classes. And if you ever watch during the games, he's always subbing.
Right.
Put your guys out there and run a series and go full speed ahead and make that other team. Don't come in subbing all the time and letting them set the defense. They've looked at everything you've done, and you need to go out there and just run a wide open full offense. I think that's how Arch Manning plays his best.
True.
And if you look in that third quarter or fourth quarter, Arch Manning was lights out.
Yeah.
And I think if Texas is going to beat Vanderbilt this week, I don't know if Arch is going to play. He's got a mild concussion, so we're not there. He's in protocol right now, concussion protocol. So
Okay.
he might be playing, he might not. But either way, Texas needs to go out there and just rip and go with offense. That seems to be – they need to have the offense like Texas Tech used to have, and the what was his name? Guy he was coaching. I think he was coaching at Mississippi State when he passed away. Guy was at Tech. I forget his name, but they called him the mad scientist. I think Texas needs to go out there and let them athletes just roar up and down the field, no rest. Offense full go the whole time. They play Vanderbilt this coming week. Personally, I think Texas does that with their defense. I think they'll beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point because it looks like that is part of the weakness with Vanderbilt. If you start going to that hurry up, they're not able to get their defense in position fast enough.
That's
and
right.
Teams are actually having good success against Vanderbilt doing that. So I agree with that.
Podcast and listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because they're going to start getting into strength of schedule on some of this. I personally think Notre Dame's going to make it.
They're right on the bubble. Is that they're in 14th?
Yeah, but when you sort of look at this, I sort of look at where the teams are and what they got left. Okay. And when you look at Notre Dame, I think they're going to win the rest of their games. Their hardest game was this last week at USC, and they won. So They got Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. I think they're going to win all of those. They're going to that's 5 games left. That'll put them at 10-2. I think they're in at that point. That's just me. I think Notre Dame's going to get in. So and the thing that got me is you'll notice Indiana went up to 97% from 94. The reason is because you have to look at who Indiana has left
and who they just beat.
Yeah,
wow, that was incredible.
They beat UCLA,
yeah,
and they beat Oregon and they beat Illinois. Illinois and Oregon were the two teams that were on there. Now they got left is Maryland. They got Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue.
Yeah. UCLA is no slouch, though. Like, UCLA has a good program.
Well, they've played some pretty good football, and then they don't play good. It makes no sense to me.
True.
But I think when you look at that, I think Indiana is definitely in. I think Ohio State's definitely in. And then you go in and you look at A&M. A&M, they got Missouri this week, but Missouri's on their third quarterback now. I don't think Missouri's winning that. I think they'll beat South Carolina, Stanford, and the last one they got, of course, is Texas. And, I think you're going to see A&M, they're going to roll into Texas at 11-0. So even if A&M lost that game, let's say, they're 11-1, they're getting in. Okay? That's just going to happen. And then you've got Alabama that is setting up there, and I'll give South Carolina, boy. I mean, they gave Alabama everything they wanted, but I think Alabama's going to beat LSU. I think they're going to beat Oklahoma. I think they're going to beat. Then they got Eastern Illinois they'll win. Then they got Auburn. I think they're going to go into that, and that's 4 games. I think they're going to be 11-1. So that's where it gets interesting at that point. So I think there's 4 teams I think are locked up right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you come in and
that leaves 8 to go roughly.
That's right.
And remember, we were talking about Georgia Tech sneaking in there.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting because you've got Georgia coming up. Georgia just beat Ole Miss. Okay, they got Florida and Mississippi State. And then they pick up Texas. Texas is going to play Vanderbilt this week. They win that, then they get a bye. Then it's on to Georgia. Okay. Now, Georgia, if Georgia wins against Texas, they're in. Okay, but if Georgia loses, just these are hypotheticals. We're always going through. So let's just hypothetically say Texas beat Georgia. Okay. Now, at that point, that makes Georgia 6-2, and Texas. I feel at that point, if Texas beat Vanderbilt and then back-to-back weeks, I think you're getting pretty close. Where even if Texas lost to A&M, I think there's a possibility Texas may get in.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation. They've been talking about that, and I've been listening to some of the college football podcasts. I listen to Joel Klatt, and it's funny because the Klatts were friends with my dad and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was a basketball coach at the high school here in Denver,
mm-hmm.
and so I kind of have a lot of roots going back to some of these sports guys, and they're talking about it's gonna be They're thinking there's going to be quite a few 3-loss teams that are going to be able to get in. So,
I've been saying it since. Who started saying it at the first when I was breaking this down?
Yeah, that's why I was saying. It's like the man versus machine. I'm not going to ask AI. I'm going to ask King James.
We had one of them that commented, and he said he didn't agree with me, and I said, we'll see. Now it's looking like it. Because I look at, I've said this many times, you got to look at strength of schedule. So that brings me to Georgia Tech. Right. If Georgia Tech loses to Georgia, then it's going to be them and Miami playing each other. Their strength of schedule is not that great. So if you get a 2-loss there, you're going to put them ahead of a really good 3-loss from the Big Ten or SEC, and that's why I'm looking at this, because I think you got 4 that are in, and I'll tell you the other ones I think are in.
Is Georgia Tech in the Atlantic, or are they in SEC?
I think isn't Georgia Tech in the ACC?
Oh, ACC. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Atlantic. That's what
I could have. Yeah, they're in the ACC. I know that.
Yeah. So, because we were always talking about division champions, and I remember last year it was, the winner of the Atlantic, the winner of the SEC, the winner of the Big Ten, all that, and like I say, we have Michigan, Ohio State coming up, and that is always just a battle. That's the only reason I ask, because like I don't know if Michigan can come up that far.
No,
but
Michigan won't.
But the thing is that just the bragging rights of Michigan winning that, rivalry, which
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
know they will, but
well, right now you got Michigan at 6-2, but it's going to come down to strength of schedule.
yeah,
And if you go in and look, who have they lost to? Oklahoma, USC, and the only one that was ranked at the time was Oklahoma.
yeah,
And
and that's always been like a kind of a sour note when they lose to USC, because I don't know if you remember that Rose Bowl
oh yeah,
when USC did that like halfback pass to win.
mm-hmm.
Like stuff like that just brings back memories for me when it comes to college football. I'll never
Oh
forget
sure.
that.
And see, when I look at what's remaining, I think more than likely Oregon's going to win the rest of theirs. In my opinion, I think they'll win. And then you look at Ole Miss; they don't have anybody. I mean, you got South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi State, and the Citadel. I think they're going to win all those. So if they do, they're 11-1. Now, what'll be interesting, I think, depending on how it shakes out, I think in the SEC, I think if you got one-loss teams there, I think for the championship, I think it's A&M and Alabama that are going to play each other. That's what I think is going to happen. But looking at that, I think you get Oregon and Ole Miss in. So right now, looking at that, you've got three Big Ten teams, and you got three SEC teams. So my SEC teams right now are A&M, Alabama, and Ole Miss.
Right.
Okay. So we got 6 of them there, and then I think Brigham Young's going to get in too.
So isn't BYU and Texas Tech their Big 12?
BYU and Texas Tech is Big 12.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Those will be the 2 that are there. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens at that point. But the one that will get me, and that's why there's a lot of scenarios here. If, say, Texas beats Vanderbilt, then they get a bye. The Georgia game is going to loom huge. Yeah. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a huge game. And it's one of playoff implications at this point.
So, are you guys going to Georgia, or is it Georgia in?
We're going to Georgia.
Okay. So you're not going to drive to that game?
Oh, no. So let's just do a hypothetical. Say Texas beat Georgia. Okay. If Texas beats Vanderbilt, I think Vanderbilt's out. Okay. Yeah. So Georgia, at the last game of the year, they have Georgia Tech. Let's just say they beat Georgia Tech. Okay. And then let's say somehow it just gets in and the ACC and Miami and Georgia Tech play each other. Miami wins. Miami's getting in at that point. Now, the question would be, are you going to put Georgia Tech in before Georgia? No, you're not. Yeah. That's just not going to happen.
Well, and if Texas loses to Vanderbilt, like that's showing that Vanderbilt is the real deal, because like they played a lot of teams like tough, like they were supposed to win some of those games, like especially against LSU.
Sure, and that's why I break this down, because I got 6 teams there, and I'd add Notre Dame there, 7.
Right.
That I think are going to get in. Okay, so there's 7 teams.
And that's
now you got 5 spots left, and I think the 5 spots left are going to be, well, also think Brigham Young. So that's 8. So there's 4 spots left at this point.
But
depending on what happens.
Don't they have like a Big 12 championship, which would be Texas Tech versus BYU?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Texas Tech may beat them, and you may put Tech and BYU in. That'll be something to see. But let's just say that happened. That's 9 teams. So you got 3 spots left. So who are your 3 spots here?
So
Well,
you already have Notre Dame as one of those, right?
mm-hmm. So I've got Indiana, Ohio State, A&M, Alabama, Oregon, Ole Miss. Let's just say we threw Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas Tech in. There's 9. So you got three spots left. So
It could very well be Georgia Tech or Miami, I would say.
well, that I'd say one of those is going to go. That's
Yeah.
10. So there's 2 spots left at that point. And I think that's where it is going to get interesting because
You're just trying to get me to say Texas is going to make it. That's all you're trying
no,
to do.
I'm just saying. Let's hypothetically, let's say Texas lost to Georgia, then they win the next, and then they beat A&M, and A&M's number 3 ranked team. That's where I go to the power index because you're going to be looking at who's beat who at that point. And so you ask yourself, looking at who's left, well, you going to put Vanderbilt in before Texas if Texas beat them? No. Are you going to put South Florida in before them? No. You going to put Tennessee? Tennessee could sneak into one of those other 2 spots. Oklahoma, you're not because Texas beat them.
Dude,
you see what I'm saying?
Tennessee was firing. Like Tennessee, like there's a lot of things that I like about Tennessee. Just the way their offense is really sharp. Like they're really crisp and they get off the ball. Like they have really good execution on all their plays, and when those running backs hit that hole, like they hit that hole. You know what I mean? It's not like they just go for like 2-3 yards. Like they get out there and get a first down like 9-10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean it's like 9-10 yards before they're even slowing them down. Like they're hitting 20-30 miles an hour. Like I'm just joking, but. They're hitting like a high miles per hour, like when they're hitting that hole, and before anybody could even start tackling them, they're already 9-10 yards down the field. So
well, just say you took these teams, this is where it gets interesting. Say you took Indiana, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, BYU, and Texas Tech, Notre Dame. And Georgia Tech or Miami. Let's just say you got one of those 2. So you're going to have a last spot that's going to be left there. It's going to be Texas, Miami, South Florida, Tennessee, or Oklahoma. As I'm saying, that 11 and 12 spot becomes very, very interesting at that point. And just say Brigham Young, they play in the Big 12 championship. They beat Tech. I think Tech doesn't get in. You see what I'm saying? And let's say Georgia Tech loses to Georgia, but they beat Miami. More than likely, Miami's going to be struggling to get a spot.
yeah,
and you could move somebody up like Tennessee or Vanderbilt.
Well, it's crazy because like Miami had such a stronghold. Like I think they started like up there in like the 2 or 3 spot, right?
Yeah, they were up there, and
they just
they had that
terrible
loss.
Yeah.
And I think you're looking at the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks here. There's going to be some movement that's going to take place here, and what I'm curious to see, let's just play hypothetical here. Of course, if you look at Miami doesn't have anybody left. Okay, the biggest win they have on their schedule, in my opinion, is Notre Dame.
Yeah,
that's their big one. I think Miami's going to win out. That's just my opinion on it. But when I get in and I look at Georgia Tech, I think Georgia Tech wins out their next 3 games till they get to Georgia. And I think Georgia's going to put it on. Then,
yeah, but it goes down to that whole strength of schedule with like Georgia Tech, because if Georgia
played
Tech,
nobody.
Yeah, if Georgia Tech gets beat by Georgia, then you know that they had like an easy schedule. But to me, what's impressive is when you see Indiana move up past Ohio State, and all they really did was just like beat their opponent very solidly.
Well,
I mean, it was like way like that game was over. It kind of reminded me of the Broncos Cowboys game. You know, it was just kind of like over after like right around halftime or something like that.
well, I think the reason because I think they're looking at schedule left. I think they're thinking Indiana's winning out,
Yeah, 100%.
and then you got Ohio State. The only big game they have left is Michigan, and I think Ohio State and Indiana are going to go undefeated and meet in the Big Ten championship. Then I think more than likely you're going to have A&M and Alabama playing. And whichever one of those teams lose, I still think those are your 4 top teams if they win out. I think they stay there in the top 4 spots. Then it gets down to what's going to happen at that point. But just say Texas beat Georgia, for instance.
Hypothetically, they beat them once last year, didn't they?
No, I'm just saying. If they beat them and they beat Vanderbilt, those are 2 very, very high quality wins at that point. Now, what really gets interesting at that point is the last game of the year. Texas will be playing A&M.
Yeah.
So,
and that'll be just like you say, just like a playoff game.
Yeah, it will. But the interesting thing is where does that put Georgia at that point? Because Georgia would only have 2 losses. Well, I think Georgia will probably beat Georgia Tech, in my opinion. I think they will.
Yeah.
But just hypothetically, Georgia gets in at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is just my opinion. If Texas got to A&M, just say they lost A&M. I think Texas is in no matter what happens that game.
Right.
So you have to look at those teams. Now, the other one that I'm curious about is going to be Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me explain.
They'd have to get a couple more big wins, like a win against Texas.
Well, let's just say let's say Vanderbilt loses to Texas. They still got to play Tennessee the last game of the year. Okay?
Right.
If they beat Tennessee, there's a possibility Vanderbilt gets in that 12th spot.
Yeah.
And see, I keep focusing down on the lower ones.
Or even Tennessee. Like, Tennessee could move up somehow.
If they beat Vanderbilt, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It comes down to a few little games because right now Tennessee is 6-2. They got Oklahoma this week. They beat Oklahoma. Then they just have to come down to Vanderbilt. That'll be a number 18. And at that time, I would say if Texas beat Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt's probably going to be number 18 or something like that. So there will be 2 quality wins right there, in my opinion. And that could push Tennessee up into the conversation at that point because I think Tennessee, they would have beaten Oklahoma. They'd have beat Vanderbilt. I think they're better in South Florida. They haven't played anybody. So the point comes up, let's just say you took because didn't Georgia beat Tennessee?
I think so. I believe
they played
so.
earlier in the year, didn't they? I think they barely lost like 3 points or something.
Yeah.
It was like
it was a close game, yeah.
47, 44, something like that.
Yeah, it was like high scoring too.
Yeah. So
wasn't one I just want to ask this stupid question. Is there like about 8 weeks left before college playoffs?
Oh no, we're only like 5 weeks left.
Okay. So, I don't really.
Well, I take that back because then you also got I think they're off a week, then they play the next week for the SEC championship, Big Ten championship, ACC, and Big 12.
Right. I was thinking it was like about 6 weeks possibly because, I mean, what is Thanksgiving like? Like Thanksgiving's like about less than 4 weeks away.
Yeah, matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that it's going to be like a regular thing every year where you'll see A&M and Texas play right around that time. I think they play on Thanksgiving Day, the 28th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a night game. I think it's like it's 6 or 7, something like that. So
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
Oh, dude, thanks a lot, man. I love when Russell Wilson stops by, man, and gives us a little what's up.
So looking at that, I think it'll be very interesting to see who gets there. And then when you come in and you look at your top 25 from week 9 to week 10, you'll see Georgia Tech. I don't know why, but they moved them down one spot. I don't get some of these AP voters.
That's weird.
They've done nothing to deserve to go down one. But when you look up there, and this is why I say this, if right now Texas moved up to 20, and then you look at Vanderbilt moved up 1. So you got a number 20 and number 9 be one of my games of the week next week.
Okay.
So you take those two. Let's just say Texas won. Texas probably jumps up in the top 15 at that point, in my opinion. So you come to the next week, not the next week, it'll be 2 weeks after that because Texas has bye. Then they're going to pick up Georgia, who's number 5 right now. Okay. So you're looking at these win-losses here, and you get into strength of schedule. Right now, you'll see the AP, they've got Notre Dame right at number 12. I think that's why I'm telling you, I think Notre Dame's getting in. The playoff predictor, they have there, I see what they have, but I also look at the remaining schedule. This could happen, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I think Notre Dame's going to win out. I think they're getting in. Just my opinion.
Okay.
So now the Big 12 and the ACC, this is where it's going to get interesting because let's just hypothetically say that Georgia Tech loses to Georgia. They're 8-1. They play Miami, who's 6-1. They're both one-loss teams time they get there. Whoever wins that game's getting in, okay? Now what'll happen is, and this is why I say this, if Texas happened to beat Georgia, and then Georgia beats Georgia Tech, are you going to put Georgia Tech in before Georgia with 2 losses? No. That ain't going to happen. So that's why I'm saying then you get Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I mean, you go and look at who Tech's played. That's the main thing. They've only played one team that even has a decent record time, and that was Utah.
Right.
And all you have to do is look and see. Do you see Utah in there? They're 6-2 at they're number 24.
Right.
So I
think they just crushed Colorado.
They did. And so they got, in 2 weeks, they play BYU, Texas Tech does.
Okay.
So if Tech loses, that's something I have not looked at. Let me go over here and grab this. I want to go look at something. I want to look at the standings in the Big 12 because I have not looked at their standings lately. So
I bet you Colorado's last. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that'll be interesting. Well, I'm glad I went over and looked at this. Okay, because there's a team I haven't even mentioned yet. They lost one game to Nebraska, and the only team they beat that was ranked at that time was Iowa State, and they're not even ranked anymore, I don't think. So you'd come down, they got Utah this week, and then 2 weeks after that, they got BYU, and a team I hadn't even looked at here is Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Let me go back and look and see if they got them on here. Yeah, they got them at number 24. So they're at
Yeah.
a 14%. So,
Yeah. So they do have some life. So you're telling me there's a chance, James?
well, you got BYU, Texas Tech, and Cincinnati is looking like they're the top teams in the Big 12.
All they really have to do is pull off an upset of one of those two teams.
Well, damn hell. I mean, you could also go and look. The Houston Cougars are 7-1 too, and they're going to win out.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody left, and the only team they lost to was Texas Tech. So they got West Virginia, Central Florida, TCU, and Baylor. So if they won those four,
Yeah, TCU isn't really as powerful as they usually are.
yeah, I'm looking up there. See, they don't even have Houston up there, and the reason Houston's not there is guess why? Strength of schedule.
Yeah.
The strength of schedule is just oh wow. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. I'm sure. I know they would like to put two teams in from the Big 12 and the ACC if possible.
Yeah. I
So-
agree with that.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's your breakdown right there, showing you all the records and everything, and and if you look at that, I mean, you're looking at. See, I think Missouri and Oklahoma, you can count them out. I don't think Louisville's getting in. Virginia's a possibility. I don't know if that'll happen or not.
A lot of those teams are like have to like dig out of a hole, like those teams like Texas. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they are in a hole.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
you know, the thing with them is they just have to keep winning.
Yeah.
And see, you go over and you look at Virginia and you look at their record. The only team they beat that was ranked at the time was Florida State at number 8. Other than that, they haven't played a ranked team. So that's why Virginia's struggling to make that top 12. But they're at number 15 right now.
Okay.
So there's a possibility that they could get into the ACC somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because they haven't played anybody.
That ACC is like a really tight. That's why I was asking you. And like I say, like when you get into the ACC, it's like wow. I mean, it's always really tight coming down the stretch, you know.
Yeah, because when I look
SEC
at it,
is always like a bunch of powerhouses, you know, Alabama and
well,
Georgia,
and that's
Texas.
why the SEC and Big Ten get more teams in because they're playing harder schedules. The strength of schedule and the power index is much greater.
100%.
So, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's all I got for college football this
All
week.
right.
Next week, I think we'll start getting a better understanding of how everything's going to move at that point.
Yeah, so we'll be moving into basically, I would say like the 6 to 7 week mark to where coming down to the college playoffs. So going into your game of the week with Missouri.
Yep, I had
and Vandy.
Vanderbilt and Missouri, and I honestly thought Vanderbilt would beat Missouri by more, and especially what?
When they
Hold on a second. Hold on. Just got something that just popped up. Let's see. There's rumor going around that the Cowboys might be getting rid of their defensive coordinator.
Ooh, live on the show.
That's what it just popped up on my thing. Somebody was saying, I don't know if they are or not, but somebody posted on a thing, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I thought Vanderbilt would do better, and Vanderbilt only had 13 first downs this game.
Okay.
Okay. And their third down efficiency was 3 for 10. And if you actually look at the total yards, Missouri had more yards. They had 376 yards.
Wow.
And they had more rushing yards. So it was 376 to 265, Missouri, as far as passing yards. Then they had 170 yards rushing to 136 for Vanderbilt. And they maintained the ball 36 minutes, 12 seconds to 23 seconds and 48 seconds for Vanderbilt. That's why I think Vanderbilt's going to have a hard time with Texas, because I think Texas has one hell of a defense.
What was the final score on that game?
The final score was 17-10.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't see that first graphic when you put it
Yeah.
up.
And so,
Yeah, pretty low scoring, like when you have like a 27 over.
well, and plus, and I put a lot into this, but you look at how the quarterbacks played for Missouri. I mean, even their backup. I mean, they're on second and third players here. That
So
not
what
even the
was-
starter.
What was the story on that? Did like their quarterback get hurt in that game and then they had to go to their third string?
Yep, that's what happened.
Okay. Wow.
And that Missouri did have one fumble loss. That hurt. Vanderbilt had a fumble, but they recovered it. And, you know, I sort of look at a lot on the passing here too, is 206 yards against Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's going to have a hard time this coming week. And I think one of the things that helped Vanderbilt against Missouri is they were playing at home.
True.
Vanderbilt's going to be on the road against Texas.
Yeah.
And when
Dude, they're gonna probably just bring Bebo out right on the field and everything. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to face Bebo.
yeah, and another thing I like to look at here is there was not much difference in the special teams play here. So everything was pretty much close to the vest, you know what I mean? And it was just sort of looking at the statistics and everything I was going over, I personally think Missouri should have won that game.
Yeah.
But-
Looking at the yardage difference.
Yeah. And then the game that really blew me away, I did not expect A&M just to curb stomp LSU like they did.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was bad. Like, I think at one point it was like 40-14 or something. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I just know it was really bad.
Well, what was interesting, at half it was 18-14 LSU was winning.
Yeah.
And then they came back out after halftime, and boy, it was an ass whooping. I mean, to give you an example, on this is very good. On third down efficiency, A&M was 7 for 10.
Wow.
And look at LSU, 2 for 13. That shows you there was some playing. In total yards, A&M had 426 to 278 for LSU. And the thing, and I'll tell you where the game didn't have nothing to do with passing. It was the rushing. A&M just run it down their throat.
Right.
And this is why I think A&M, they're built for the SEC, okay? And another team that's built for the SEC as far as defense is concerned right now, and I think their offense does open up, is Texas. I don't think A&M is going to have that kind of rushing against Texas. Texas shuts down that rushing. You better be able to pass on, because you don't run on them, you know. And they got them big bodies up in the middle and stuff. So that's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game when they play each other. And I think you're going to get the same thing when you play a Georgia, you play an Alabama. You know, that's what you're getting into.
Hey, I gotta do something real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. And then looking at everything that was done here is the one of the running backs I sort of like for A&M, and I know Texas tried to recruit him and a lot of other schools, I like Reuben Owens. I like him. I think he's a good running back. And I also really, really like the running back for LSU, Harlan Berry. I think Harlan Berry, even Texas recruited him. Everybody was. But he grew up in Louisiana, so naturally he went there. But I was looking at this, and I honestly thought at the start of this game, I thought he would have a bigger game burying Brown for LSU. He only had 4 catches for 60 yards. He had a long one of 41, but other than that, they kept him in check. And I think Marion Brown's a really good player. And then I started looking at the receiving for A&M. And A&M, I'm going to give Marcel Reed credit. He didn't play great last year, but he's playing really good this year. One of the things that makes Marcel Reed really good is he runs the ball. And I was really surprised LSU didn't put a spy on him. I mean, he had 13 rushes for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he averaged 8.3 with a long one of 41 yards. That's kicking it right there. That is an incredible game. And then he was 12 of 21 for 202 yards, and he threw 2 interceptions. And that's why I'm saying I would have put the pressure on him and spied him and everything and made him beat me with his arm. But I guess that's why you're seeing now Jim Kelly, LSU's coach, has been fired, is for those reasons. So that was sort of the stats of the game there. And then you come in and look, and this was a really, really big one right here. And everybody knows I talk about this every freaking week, is sacks and tackles for losses. A&M had 7 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. How many sacks did LSU have? 0 and 2 tackles for loss. And I've brought this up so many times on this podcast, is always go in. It's one thing that we look at. What are you doing? It's one thing that we look at the offense, but I also say you need to look at the defense and see what the defense has done. Right. And those 7 sacks and 11 tackles for loss, that was the difference in allowing A&M to do. Basically what happened is A&M just bullied LSU in that second half. Their offense and defensive line, they just took it to them. And yes, they did have 2 interceptions, LSU, and that's why I was saying they should have stacked that box and let the quarterback beat them. Yeah. But, like I said, that's probably why Kelly's fired now. 100%. And then you come in, look, and this is a tell of the game. A&M punted 1 time. LSU punted 7 times. Wow. How many times you heard me say that on there? I was like, just look at stats, and the stats will pretty much tell you what took place in the game.
100%.
So, A&M, I don't like you, but I'm going to give you your props. Y'all played really good. Y'all got a good team. And look, I think y'all are going to go undefeated till you get to Texas, and we'll see what happens at that point. But A&M, I think you're going to the playoffs, son. LSU, hope you find a good coach.
Have fun in the Snoop Dogg Alamo Bowl. Rent-A-Car Alamo Bowl.
You know what I like to say about that game? A&M whipped them so bad they fired their coach. That's what happened.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, dude, sorry about that. It's weird. We have this bathroom down here next to the studio, and somehow I don't know how the door keeps getting locked. And it's so weird because it's like my son's like, "Hey, door's locked again." It's like, dude, what the hell? Is it like a ghost locking it? Because and you have to do the credit card and get it open and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's like how does it get locked? I didn't lock it, and it's like the freaking cat didn't jump up there and lock it. So how's this thing keep getting locked? But so I had to unlock it for my son. But no, it's really cool. I like how you do that breakdown and everything, because it kind of gives you that behind the scenes story really how it went down, how it happened, you know.
Sure it does.
And,
You know, I watch a lot. You know, I go riding around at night. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping, and I'll just listen to different sports broadcasts and everything. And they always get in and they just talk about the game. They don't ever show you any of the stats or anything like that, and go through and when you go through and you actually look at it, you know, I've always said this: special teams make a difference.
right.
And you know, if I was a coach, I'd put a lot of emphasis on my special teams, and I'd put a lot of emphasis on building my offense and defensive lines.
Right.
I mean, it's great to have all the skill players in the world and stuff, but you can take just a good running back, above average, not a great running back. You put him behind a good line, all of a sudden he's a great back. You know what I mean? You get good defensive linemen where you can come in and you can blitz a linebacker or safety off the edge or a cornerback, and those guys are moving people out of the way and you're getting free shots at the quarterback. It makes a difference.
100%. Well, like I say, my fantasy team's only down by 4 points, so go Kelsey. Come on, catch a couple more passes, but I only need four points to win, so I'm almost there. But like I say, the Chiefs, their defense right now is good for 11. So I still need quite a bit more from them. I need Bill Jakrowski Merritt to get like 20. He's on like 0.7, so I don't know if it's going to happen. And he's kind of a little bit of a fumble monster, so hopefully he fumbles and helps my defense get more points. But
hell, they're in the second quarter and it's 0-0.
Yeah, so tight game. We'll see what happens there.
Told y'all.
Yeah. You know, you pick the Commanders, and like I say, like if it's a low scoring game like that, they definitely have the advantage.
I think so.
You know, so we'll see.
When I said 23-20, I was like, I'm going to go low because I think they'll play good.
100%. All right, so we'll move on to the NFL segment.
Yep, let's get it going.
Now it's time for Willie's NFL Breakdown, Power Rankings, and Fantasy.
All right, so if you guys picked up Gadsden in Fantasy and tight end, you're probably very happy because
you didn't send me your breakdown this week, so I just put in the divisions for you with the updated
that's
rankings.
Fine, just the records. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like, I can kind of go through and talk about them. So the Buccaneers are actually like really struggling. It was really weird. Like, it really hurt my brain. I saw so many different things that they did wrong against the Saints. Baker Mayfield just is not looking that great. I think he only had like 4 or 5 fantasy points, and they had where they went all the way down to the 1 yard line, New Orleans 1 yard line, and they went and turned it over on downs, and then they went to New Orleans went to throw something, and they got like a pick 6. So like that's really the game winner for the Bucs was their defense scoring. Their offense looked horrible. Wasn't good at all. The Panthers actually didn't look too bad. When you look at like that whole division, when you got Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, Saints, Falcons looked horrible. That was like no excuse. Panthers were playing the Bills, so I mean they just got curb stomped by the Bills. I think it was like 40-10 or something like that. But when you look at that whole NFC South division, it's hard to see the Bucks not coming out of that one, winning it up 2 games. But honestly, the Panthers could be sneaky, come back up. We got the Packers, the Lions, the Bears, the Vikings. Vikings looked horrible. Vikings, it was embarrassing. Me and Daniel, like when we were eating our crow, we just didn't like it. Like we just did not like any part of that crow. That was not even good at all. The Bears actually looked decent. Went into the Ravens territory and looked okay. They got some good running yards and stuff, but there's some weird conspiracy coming out of that Baltimore game. I guess they're trying to say that Lamar wasn't hurt and that for some reason he stayed out. And I don't know. We'll have to look more into that. The Lions were on bye this week, so you can't really say they did anything bad. Packers are just gonna remain like that solid team. I could see Packers winning that division as it sits right now. You have the Seahawks, the Rams, the Niners, and the Cardinals. Cardinals were on bye. Rams were on bye. Seahawks were on bye, right?
I think so.
So the only team that played was the Niners, and I don't think they looked that good. Didn't McCaffrey didn't he only get maybe under 30 yards or something like that? I can't remember exactly, but I don't think McCaffrey looked that great, and I don't think he
don't
did.
really remember.
So it was 49ers.
I can look here real quick. I'll tell you real quick.
Yeah.
There's the box score. We'll see what Caffrey did. Caffrey had 8 carries for 25 yards and had 3 receptions for 43.
Wow. Yeah, and that's not great, but it doesn't kill you. And they were against who did they play? Was it?
Are you talking about San Francisco? They played Houston Texans.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And Houston didn't have a Drake London. So and Houston won that game, right?
Houston ended up winning. I think it was 20. Let me look over. It's 20 something to 13 or something.
Yeah.
Here we go. 26-15.
Oh, what's up? We have somebody in here. Go Blue Jays. All right, man. Yeah. Let's. Thanks for jumping in, man. I appreciate you. But go Jays. That's cool. Me and King James are really not huge baseball guys, but I think if I was gonna pick anybody, it was gonna be whoever the team is going to.
I do like baseball. I mainly keep up with the Rangers and Astros more than I do any. Back when my son was playing, I actually coached select team, and I coached Team Mizuno. And we they had contacted me to coach because I was coaching another team, and we formed a select league. And when I had my tryouts and everything, I had over 300 kids that come out and tried for about 12 spots. And we lost 2 games in 3 years.
Wow.
That's how good our team was. And before I did that, we played on Team Under Armour, and we went down to the Disney down in Orlando. They got the Wild World of Sport Entertainment Complex down there, and teams from all over the country were there, like top teams, and we played a team that was from the Fort area there, and they had a whole bunch of Cuban players on the team that their dads were baseball players and stuff, and they hadn't lost a game, and we had to play them before we got the championship. And my son was actually pitching, and he was up there just sort of throwing, but he threw hard. I mean, he was, I think at that time, was he 12 years old at that time? I think it was. And
are you asking me? No,
it was like 12 years old, but he was hitting right around 63 to 67 miles an hour.
Wow.
And boy, and they were over there playing their music and hooting and hollering on the other side. And the game started, and Austin threw that first fastball, and it went dead silent over there, and we beat them 1-0.
Wow.
And at that age, you could only pitch 6 innings. And he asked Austin, he said, "How do you feel?" Austin goes, "I'm good." And he goes, "You're pitching this last inning." He goes, "If you get them out," he goes, "you're done. We won the game." He goes, "But you're not pitching another inning after this." And he got them out. He struck 2 out. Another guy hit a soft one back to him, and he threw him out at first and won the game. And the coach yelled for me, and he said, "Take him down." They had a medical place down there, and we went down there and we iced his whole arm up and everything, and come back and went to play the next day, and he made Austin set the bench because he didn't want him throwing his arm anymore. He said because he threw, I mean, he was tired after that game. I didn't even have to get. He went straight to bed that night. I tell you how tired he was after throwing it. But so I do like baseball.
So Chiefs are up 7-0 now.
Uh-oh.
Looks like Kareem Hunt just punched her in 7-0 Chiefs. All right, so we'll move on to the NFC West. Pretty much buyed out all those teams on bye. I don't understand why the NFL does this. It's pretty easy. You have 32 teams and 16 weeks. You know, you just do 4 per week. You know, I don't understand why they do this. Have to do this 6 teams. But we have the Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. All those teams are playing. Eagles won, looked pretty good against the Giants. Giants are in tough shape now that they lost Scatterboo. All you guys in fantasy, go get Tracy now on waivers because Tracy's going to be up there now. And this is going to probably be a little bit of a committee backfield with Singletary getting a little work. But we have the Commanders going tonight. And then we all know what happened with the Cowboys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a little bit of crow eating on that one. We go over to the AFC North. We got the Steelers, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens. Ravens actually look like they could be getting back. Like they actually were doing some stat where they were talking about teams that started 1-5 and still made the playoffs, and Ravens could be in there. Browns actually looked pretty decent, not too bad. Like I say, Gabriel is not going to be like their longtime starter. I would like to see Shedeur get in there and actually play a little bit, but as of now, it's going to be Gabriel, and I think he was good for like 18 fantasy points, so that was pretty decent. Bengals, oh man, that's just a tragedy. The whole Bengals situation, to lose to the Jets in the fashion that they lost in. We'll go over that later in the final countdown. And the Steelers are pretty solid, but I mean they're leading that division, but man, that is such a really low ranking division. Like you just look at all the losses in that division, like
Yep.
I don't know if the Steelers can hang in there and win the AFC North. Then we go over to the AFC South. We got the Colts on fire, the Jags on bye, Texans and Titans. And like, you know, like dude, Daniel has a really good point, man. Put some respect on those Jets, man. Like I'm not gonna do it, Daniel. Not gonna do it. But like I say, it was
Not that much respect anyway.
I mean, I'll put some respect on their defense that gave Jamar Chase 19 fantasy points. So I actually saved my day. But the Colts are like the team to beat in the AFC. They just continue to be on fire. They're just putting up all kinds of points. Danny Dimes is dropping them in. They have just so many weapons. Jonathan Taylor is just, it's out of control. they went and they were taking like all these different teams, and they were taking like the combined points of like all their players together, and it still wasn't as much as Jonathan Taylor. So it's just ridiculous, like just out of control. Jags on bye, then Texans. The Texans actually played a decent game. Their offense needs some help. Like they don't really have that much weapons. CJ Stroud's actually playing decent. Like I think he's playing better this season than he was last season, but he still just doesn't have that many weapons. He doesn't really have a good running attack. He's got Woody Marks, and so it's gonna be rough for him moving forward. But we'll see. They could crawl out of the basement. Titans, they're pretty much done. I think I saw a stat where they were saying that of the number one pick quarterbacks, this is like the worst that number one pick quarterback has ever done. I don't think you could put it all on Cam Ward, but it's tough to come out 1-7 as the first round pick quarterback, and especially when you see what like Jackson Dart's doing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then we move over and we have the AFC West. Broncos, of course, leading the AFC West at this point. Chargers still looking strong. Like Chargers, like I don't think that the Broncos are out of the woods at all with the Chargers sitting there. You got the Chiefs playing tonight. The Chiefs could actually tie up with the Chargers, and Chiefs are actually looking pretty good. And the Raiders, I actually put a bet out there for like $160 that the Raiders would not get 6 wins this season. So we'll see how that pulls off. I'm pretty confident that I'm right. But I believe the Raiders are on bye too this week, so that's not counting as the win that they were hoping for. And then we have the AFC East. The on fire Patriots are just looking so good, man. I mean, it was Patriots against the Browns. The whole game started off really slow, didn't look that great, and Drake May just caught on fire and just went crazy. And he was actually ended up being good for I think 38 fantasy points. The Bills are playing Panthers, and like I say, we pretty much expected this to be like a pretty big blowout with the Bills. But man, it was a Cook show. James Cook was just on fire. I mean, he was just all over the place. I think he finished out with like 38 fantasy points. Then actually we got surprised by the Dolphins against the Falcons. And everyone was telling me, oh, man, you need to start Cousins. He's going to light up the Dolphins. Nope. Tua actually just smoked the Falcons. And I think Waddle and a few of the Dolphins actually had career days. And like I say, and everyone knows what happened with the Jets. Is that like their second win?
I think so.
Yeah, against the Bengals. So, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing, and that was in Cincinnati too. So, yeah, you could just tell their fans are just disgruntled and everything. But altogether, when you come through all this power rankings and everything, this will all kind of shake out probably a little better next week. I'm gonna actually send James my power ranking thing next week. I try to do it on like Wednesday when I send you the rest for the Thursday podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes it easier because then you have it at your dispensary. So the only reason I didn't do it was because of Monday Night Football, and I was thinking, oh man, I'll be able to send it Sunday. Yeah, right. So it didn't happen, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna try to make excuses for my defense like you guys have to. Ooh.
I don't. I'll tell you right now, I don't even make an excuse for that. That
was pretty sad.
Well, you're about to get to do that, so let's go right on over and take you right into your game of the week where y'all can really rub and grill that freaking crow. Because when you look at the game of the week, of course, these are our two favorite teams. So naturally, they're playing each other. So you know damn good and well that was going to be the game of the week. And
Oh, wow. What did we see there? Is that 44-24? You said it'd win by 20?
I'm gonna show some stats here. I want everybody to look at this. Dallas held the ball for 33 minutes and 32 seconds to 26 minutes and 28 seconds. Okay.
Wow.
Now, we're going to show the how open and wide open these players were. Y'all literally had total offense, total yards of 426 yards and had 247 yards passing.
Right.
Okay. And then you had 179 yards rushing. I'm going to tell you, I've never seen it. It was like the Dallas defense didn't even know where they were supposed to be. It was totally incredible looking. So
Right.
when you got into this,
I think the Broncos are like on the cusp of getting the record. Like I think right now they're tied with the 85 Chicago Bears for sacks.
now I just want to point out, and these stats are proving how bad the defense for Dallas is.
Right.
You had Tony Franklin, 6 catches for 89 yards. He averaged 14.8 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns, along 26. Then you had Cortland Sutton, 4 receptions, 67 yards, 16.8 yards a catch. Then you had Paul Bryan, 2 receptions for 40 yards, 20 yards average.
It's Pat Bryant.
Or Pat Bryant.
Yeah.
Now look at that. 3 freaking players that were averaging over 15 yards of reception.
Yeah.
And that's out of 12 receptions. That is uncalled for any team. And then you had Dobbins, and I think Dobbins great back, but I don't think he's that great. But he had 15 carries, 111 yards, and he averaged 7.4. Then you had R.J. Harvey. He averaged 6.6. And then you had Marvin Mims, who had it 3 times, and he averaged 6 yards a carry. And then one guy, Tyler Beatty, I don't even know who the hell that is.
Yeah,
he had 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's our third string running back. But I started R.J. Harvey in my fantasy, and I was like, man, I'm probably going to regret this. I didn't regret it. I'm probably going to win tonight because of that.
Yeah, well, you sit there and you look at those type of stats, and I'll say another thing. You know, another thing that hurt Dallas more than anything.
What's that?
And we say this every week about them: penalties.
Oh yeah.
God Almighty!
You were talking about that, not lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah,
I think they had 2 of those on one drive, and
yeah, I mean,
it just kept us alive.
You want to talk about undisciplined? That is just terrible. And then you come over and you look at the defensive stats. I mean, I just don't even know what to say. I mean, you look at this. Dallas had 2 passes defended. You know how many Denver had? 12.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. That is just uncalled for. And then when you get over here and you look in the special team stats, there's nothing to really think anything about. But, you know, I say this all the time. How many times did Dallas punt? 5 times and 2 for Denver. And and what did I say Dallas needed to do? Defense is on 4 or 5 times. You probably win the game. They held them twice. The very opening of the drive, and then it would have been 3, which I said was a turning point of the game. The guy lining up off sides when they held them on the second drive.
If you ask me what the turning point of the game was when Harvey ran that touchdown. Because, I mean, it was pretty close, and then all of a sudden it was just like Harvey just came in the game and just ran his touchdown. Like that was so crazy. Like it totally caught the Cowboys by surprise. Like, and then I told you about
Wasn't that on the second drive?
Might have been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When that happened, that's why I said they literally just killed themselves at that point. And Dad and I were sitting there watching, and I said, right when they did, I said, Dallas is going to lose.
Right.
And he was like, oh, what do you mean they're going to lose? I said, I'm telling you right now, if you are so undisciplined, you can't look on the line of scrimmage and see you're off sides. That is discipline issues. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell Dad you're playing a song on there, making fun of.
Go for it, man. I think it's funny. Like it's like all I need to do is just like that first like little like I can just do like how it starts out. Is that your dad playing guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he can play the guitar and all that. You know, my brother, youngest brother, he still plays in bands around. He's got his own little band. They go play at different spots, and he can play the guitar, the drums. He plays something else. What else did he play? I can't remember, but I'll tell you a funny story. He had came back. He went in the Air Force. And he comes back, and we had this club. This has been back in probably 86, 87, somewhere in there. And it was called West Side Stories. And you go out there, and they had like, I'd say there's like 6 clubs in there. And one of them was a karaoke club. So we had gone in there, and my brother, he'd been drinking. He goes, pick anything out. I'll freaking sing it. I said, anything? So I was looking, and I picked out Led Zeppelin, Black Dog. And where it goes, say, hey, mama, say the way you swear. I pulled that out, and you got to picture this. He goes up on the stage, and there's probably about 100 people in there.
Wow, Commanders just scored touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And he goes up there. He's got on his jeans. He's got on his cowboy hat and stuff. And there was these bikers guys had their leather jackets up. They were sitting down at front, and they are all out there drinking stuff. And when you go up there, it had like these 2 screens, one on each side, and it pulls up and it tells you what song he's going to sing. And they're all laughing and everything. And you got this cowboy up there. And I mean, you thought you were listening to the freaking record. That's how good he was. And
nice.
He get up there and he starts hitting those bikers up front. They jumped up, started flicking their lighters and stuff. And after he finishes, he comes back there. One of the biker dudes he goes, "Hey man, y'all come up and sit with us." And they were buying us drinks and stuff, saying, "Man, you're freaking awesome." Then he turned around, got up there, sang A Whole Lot of Love, and then he turns around, sings some George Strait and Garth Brooks. And back then, he sort of favored and looked like Garth Brooks. And with his hat on and stuff, he sort of had the rounder face, you know. And we were out in Florida. We had a meeting down there. It was an IEI meeting, International Association of Electrical Inspectors. And Billy,
it's not that anymore. They changed it.
Yeah, but this will show you. I think that was southern section we were at, or southwest, one of those.
Now it's International Authority. It's IAEI, so International Authority of Electrical Interpretation now or something. I don't know.
I don't keep up with them anymore.
It's different, but it's not inspectors anymore.
But what was interesting, when we went to that thing, Billy was actually the association hired Billy to play there. And Billy did all kinds of stuff. They had a big ballroom. Billy was the band, his band come down and stuff. And then later that night, Billy and I went out. We were in Perdido Beach, which is right on the line there of Florida and Alabama. And we went down to a club that was down there, and it's supposedly right on the line, and it was called Bama was the club. And we walked in there, and I actually know how to play the guitar too. And oh yes, I do.
I'm not buying it.
We're gonna have to get on here one night. Let me strum a few tunes. Let you
All
boys hear some jamming from old King James, baby.
Let's do it. Let's do a jam. Let's do a jam on here.
But there's this week.
Let's do a live jam.
We went into the club, and they had a stage there, and they had some anybody just wanted to come up and play. They had guitar stuff, and I went up there, and Billy just starts singing some Garth Brooks songs. I'm sitting there playing. Bunch of girls, because they thought he was freaking Garth Brooks, and we said, "Nah, he ain't Garth Brooks," And next thing you know, we're out partying on a yacht with one of the guys there, and a bunch of these girls and everything. Hey, I was back in my 20s. We were hanging out in our cowboy hats and shit on the beach.
Nice. Yeah, dude, it was really funny because I've been working at DIA, and I'm out driving like this. It's kind of like an off-road, like, go-kart and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm, like, driving it through the airport, and, like, all these chicks are, like, I want to put a sign on it, like, hey, hot chicks ride for free or something like that, But, like, they're like, hey, that's nice rims and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I didn't realize it, but it was pretty funny. And, like I say, us old guys can have some fun and hang out still. Dude, Daniel has this really good thing, he doesn't want to hear any whining from you, James. So, I was really good story about when Daniel was saying something about whining. So, I didn't know this, but I went and I started working for this company. I was as a foreman and everything. And they're like, all right, do you know any journeymen? And I was like, oh, yeah, I know Daniel. Daniel's journeyman. Yeah, we get Daniel. Oh, no, he's a whiner. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I gotta ask Daniel about this, right? So then I go ask Daniel, like, what's this about? Like, something like you're a whiner? He goes, yeah, I didn't want to work Sunday. So they call me a whiner. And so we had this real joke about that. And it's like, oh, what? Going to the Broncos game is more important? Oh, you little whiner. Going to the Broncos game is more important than our job? Like, you little whiner. So it was pretty funny, but I do agree with Daniel that King James, like, the thing is, what I love about the whole thing is you didn't pull the last time the Cowboys lost and just say you were too sick to come to the show, so, I mean, that's cool. That's respectable, like, you were telling me I was going to be the one that was going to come in sick, call in sick, and I was like, I learned it from the master. I learned it from King James, so,
I will always show up.
Yeah?
It just, that week, what was going on that week? Something happened. Is that when my mom passed away?
There was like only like 3 shows you missed in like the 4 years we've been doing this, and you were like really sick. And
I might have been sick. Yeah, I remember something happened.
Yeah, you were really sick.
Usually I show up. I just like coming on.
Dude, the one when excuse me, the one when your mom passed away, we actually got Bryce Nesbitt on here, and we did a whole thing, 2 hours straight with him and David Englehart on EBSE, and dude, it was so awesome. And then Bryce actually sent me the email to the Standards Council. I sent the Standards Council an email and was like, hey, this is the whole reason I submitted it. They agreed with me, and they said, yeah, the outlet's installed. And so they basically, all the way across the board, yep, outlet's installed. It doesn't just exist. Boom, done. And I was so happy about that. I was like, yes. Here we go. But it has nothing to do with sports. Has nothing to do with football. But we'll go on to the final countdown.
And sometimes y'all see us on here talk about something like that. That's just because we have 2 different podcasts, and that's the one we got started with.
Yeah. We're electricians at heart.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
All right, so we had an awesome matchup in Cincinnati with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, and the game ended up 39-38 for their first win of the season. I thought it was their second win, but first win of the season. The Bengals drove their own 45 on their final possession, but Flacco threw two straight incompletions to turn the ball over on downs. The crowd of 65,526 booed lustily as the final seconds ticked off and the Jets began to celebrate. So, yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe it. I thought, honestly, that Joe Flacco could drive him down the field and score the game-winning field goal, but they couldn't get it done. Honestly, it was really crazy because I'm really in doubt in this game. Like, fantasy-wise, I have Jamar Chase. T. Higgins had like a 80-yard touchdown bomb score, T. Higgins has been like not even fantasy relevant for weeks, and all of a sudden he's good for 15 fantasy points on one play.
Yep.
So this was really fantasy driven. Garrett Wilson has been pretty much a non-factor. They're talking about different elements of the Jets being traded for like rebuilding, and so we'll see what happens. I don't want to speculate on really what's going to happen as far as that goes, but like I say, there's really not that many weapons left on the Jets, but they somehow won a game. So that was crazy, and especially being on the road in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's in trouble.
Yes, they are.
They lost. They lost pretty much a lot of their heart and soul when it comes to losing their quarterback. Losing their starting quarterback. They tried to do different stuff. They actually traded, got Flacco. Flacco actually had a great week last week. I thought it was really funny. I have to send you the video. It's really funny. There's this video, and Joe Burrow is like jumping up and down and like celebrating and everything. And like, yes, we won. And Joe Flacco's just sitting there like totally not even like having any emotion at all,
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny, but losing Joe Burrow, it was a pretty hard thing for the Bengals. I don't know that it's gonna get better for him. Maybe Flacco could dig him out of a hole and stuff, but like when you have the winless Jets come in there and beat you in Cincinnati, that's not a good thing. So
It sure the hell isn't.
we'll see, but the Jets are the winner of Willie's final countdown this week, and it's pretty awesome. Like, it's pretty awesome that, a team like the Jets, and I think Fields actually played a pretty good game too. So,
Not bad.
yeah, so, I'm always been down on Fields. I've never really liked Justin Fields. But, like I say, I really should have kept him on my fantasy team. He could have really helped me out this week. So what happened was there was a team, one of my buddies in the fantasy had three quarterbacks. So he had Sam Darnold on the Seahawks, he had Stafford on the Rams, and he had Jared Goff on the Lions. All were on bye. So I traded and gave him Lamar Jackson. Well, Lamar Jackson was supposed to play, then all of a sudden magically he's hurt right before game time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like freaked out because I'm like, dude, I was supposed to like get him a quarterback. So I sent him over Gabriel, and then I started Cousins, and it screwed me because Cousins just dropped a bomb and didn't do nothing, and then Gabriel actually had a decent day with like 18 fantasy points. So congratulations, John. you won your fantasy week. I lost mine, but mine was pretty much bombed altogether. I just didn't have anybody. But next week I should be able to put it together pretty good because I got Stafford, I got Aaron Jones back, different stuff. So that's what's cool about fantasy. It's a lot of fun. But, all in all, congratulations, Jets, on your first win. And sorry, Cincinnati fans. That was a rough. There was a lot of them. Like me and Daniel, we've seen it this season. A lot of fans crying in the stands. We see it. Cincinnati fans, Eagles fans. Dude, I actually had one of my buddies actually flew out there to Philadelphia to watch the game and everything, and I was like, so he went to the. So I'm not trying to put you on blast, Riley Mile High, but he actually went to the NFL draft, and it was in Green Bay, and he missed his flight or something, and so he ended up having to get stuck in Green Bay. I don't remember exactly. He was stuck somewhere because he missed his flight, and so before the game, I was like, hey Riley, make sure you don't miss your flight, because if we lose that game, you're not going to be a very good guy out there hanging out in your Broncos gear in Philly,
That's right.
And then we end up winning that game. So it's pretty cool, but he didn't miss his flight anyway. But, he realized, he's like, oh, yeah, like he's got this whole thing, Dallas sucks. It's like a chain that he wears around, like, Dallas sucks and everything. I don't know why he wears that, but he was hoping that it would make him in common with some of the Eagles fans or whatever. But like we'll see. I don't know. Maybe he's just saying maybe Dallas' defense sucks. Maybe not so much offense. I think Dak played a pretty damn good game. Like, dude, I couldn't believe when we got that sack on him on third down. Like, that was so awesome. Like, I think that's when the whole momentum changed right there, when we got that sack on him.
I think you can come up with better words besides suck for our defense. They're worse than that.
True.
They are pathetic. That's probably a better word.
Yeah, and dude, I tell you what, I'm so happy, with all you guys like joining us and hanging out.
Yeah, we just come on here, have a good time. Everybody wants to talk any type of smack about another team. Hey, we're all for it.
Go Jays. Go Jays.
I actually had a guy that hit me on one day. He goes, y'all should do more. I'm like, no, I got too much other stuff to do.
Yeah, and I will send over my meme and stuff, or all my stuff for the podcast, like coming up like Wednesday. But like I say, anyone wants to hang out with us, talk electrical, if you're an electrician, and you just want to make fun of Paul Abernathy or any other code guys that are trying to throw King James on blast, let us know.
Doesn't work for him though.
Dude, it's so funny. He's like, I got my haters, and it's like, dude, nobody's hating on you. You're hating on, dude, it was so funny. He was like, you got something to say to me? Come up to McKinney, Texas, and say it to my face. And then come to find out, he's not even in McKinney, Texas. He's in Virginia.
He's like, oh no, he may come up here.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because you're like, oh, he don't want me coming up to McKinney. Next thing you know, he's not even in McKinney anymore.
Jerk off.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. But no, it's a lot of fun talking sports, talking football. Like I say, I'll get a little bit better breakdown next week as far as rankings and everything like that. I really wanted kind of the Chiefs Commanders mix to be in it. And like I say, they're going to be in my top 20 probably next week. So we'll see.
Next week we may have a little bit. We'll really start getting into the college. Things are going to start happening here in the next 2-3 weeks. We'll know who's going to be getting to those playoffs.
Yeah, I'll probably.
And I'm excited for the playoffs. I think the playoffs are. I like the college football playoffs more than I do the pro. And I think the last year, didn't they have more people watching college playoffs than they did the pros? I think, or something.
No, they did.
I think that's why
Sure.
they're going to go to 16 teams eventually, because of the money it's making. Like, hell, I would. Everybody loves college football.
Yeah,
And pro football too, but
100%. But I will get you a breakdown on like Wednesday. That way, that when we do it on Monday, it's like more of a concise breakdown from what happened in week 8, and then going into week 9. Even though we'll already be into week 9, it'll be like a better breakdown of how that went. But
yeah.
I think it's been working pretty good. A lot of people have been giving us crap for like, oh, why are you guys going live on Monday? Because like it's Monday Night Football and everything. So we'll
Just
see.
come on here, have fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, you can watch a football game while you're listening to 2 experts.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And like I say, I don't want to call myself an expert, but I have been watching football for more than 10,000 hours. So I don't know if anybody knows. I don't know if anybody knows that quote. It's a famous quote from Peyton Manning. He says, "Anybody that's been doing something for more than 10,000 hours is what I consider an expert." And so I agree with that. 100% agree with that. And I guarantee James has been doing it more than 100 for more than 10,000 hours.
Way more.
I've been doing it more than 10,000 hours. Like I say, I remember watching the 1985 Chicago Bears in the Super Bowl, and I can't remember. I was like 12 years old or something like that, but that was awesome, man.
I remember when Don Meredith was the quarterback for Cowboys, and I was watching.
Yep.
So I tell you how long I've been watching.
Yeah. So, like I say, I don't like to call myself an expert, but we are. So.
But we are.
Yeah, it is what it is. Dude, I really appreciate it. I want to let everyone just head out of here and go watch some football.
Yeah,
and
it's time to go.
And like I say, as always, remember, make every day an easy day. Dude, make sure to tell your dad how much we miss him.
Yeah, I will tell him what y'all played. And with that, we're out. I can't take it no more.